কোনটা কোন বোন বল? ফ্রন্টাল বোন, দুটো প্যারাইটাল বোন। ওকে ওকে, occiput. What are the different types of sutures available here? Sagittal suture extends from which frontal to which frontal? To the posterior frontal. Okay. Anterior frontal is known as bregma and posterior frontal is known as lambda. Okay. Then yes. So if I tell you to show me the vertex, how will you show me the vertex? Yes, the vertex is basically bounded by the anterior frontally and posteriorly by the and laterally by the imaginary line passing through the parietal eminence. Okay, show me the brow. Okay. Boundaries. The glabella konda. Which one is the glabella? আর ফেস যদি দেখাতে হয় তাহলে bounded by the lower border is the chin, upper border is the brow and laterally by the ঠিক আছে। So this is the fetal pelvis. Pelvis is, what are the boundaries of the pelvic inlet? Can anybody volunteer and tell me? Because if you don't know the boundaries and the various parts, you won't be able to understand the mechanism of labor. Okay. দাঁড়িয়ে বল, get up and demonstrate. Everybody should listen how to hold the pelvis in anatomical position first. How will you decide the angle of inclination? So whenever you are holding the pelvis, how will you decide the angle of inclination? We'll hold the pelvis like this and touch it to the horizontal, and then this will be the angle of inclination. Yeah, but how will you decide this is in the same plane? You have to touch it to a vertical structure and then pull it so that the angle of inclination is the spine. So if you hold it in the air, you won't be able to get the angle of inclination. So you have to touch it to a vertical surface and get the angle of inclination so that these two things are in the same plane. And then ila of the sacrum and the sacral promontory. So what are the oblique diameters? Sure. And then what is this? What is this diameter called? This is right oblique diameter or left oblique diameter? Okay. What are the anterior posterior diameters? Okay. What is this structure called? Ischial spine. What is the significance of this ischial spine? Now only we will come to and yes and station is SSTs. Once the internal this ischial spine is crossed, this is station 0. Once the ischial spine is crossed, then it is said that the head has engaged. So now we know the different parts of the pelvis as well as the different parts of the fetal skull. Now what we will study is the mechanism of normal labor. So the basic point is here is, what do you mean by normal labor? Any idea what do you mean by normal mechanism of labor? Why I am stressing on the word normal labor? Because there is some abnormal labor as well as. So what is normal labor? Any idea about normal labor? Okay, term maybe here. Vaginally delivered, vertex presentation and longitudinal lie here. So in a sentence, if you want to say, then what will you say? This is normal labor is characterized by when the lie of the fetus is longitudinal. Then presenting part is, presentation is cephalic. Presenting part is vertex. Denominator is occiput. And it is delivered vaginally without any assistance. This is known as normal mechanism of labor. So whenever you are asked to demonstrate the normal mechanism of labor, you will always say that I will demonstrate the mechanism of labor when the fetus is in longitudinal lie, well flexed and with in cephalic presentation, vertex being the presenting part and occiput as the denominator. So in this, what is the most common position? That is left occipito-transverse is the most common position. Where in left occipito-transverse, if I say that the head, fetus is in longitudinal lie and the head is in the left occipito-transverse. By this, what do I mean? That the occiput will point towards the, if I am telling the fetus head is lying over then the left occipito-transverse position, then where is the occiput pointing towards? Left occipito-transverse. Then the occiput will be towards the left side, obviously. And the sagittal suture will occupy the, and the sagittal suture, see, this is the sagittal suture, right? So the sagittal suture will occupy which? Exactly. Sagittal suture will occupy the transverse diameter of the pelvis. Now, what are the different steps in the mechanism of labor? What are the different steps? Anybody knows? There are 7 different steps in the mechanism of labor. Basically, these are the various kind of movements and various kind of adjustment the fetus undergoes while traversing through the maternal pelvis during its course of delivery. So, what are the different movements or different adjustment the fetus does to get delivered or pass through the maternal birth canal? First is the engagement. So first there are 7 cardinal movements in the mechanism of labor. So first is engagement. So engagement, what is the definition of engagement? When the largest, not the biparatal diameter, largest transverse diameter of the fetal skull. What is the largest transverse diameter? That is the biparatal diameter, that is the 9.5 centimeter. When the largest transverse diameter of the fetal skull crosses the pelvic inlet or the pelvic brim, we say that the head is engaged. So now see, if the head engages like this in the left occipito-transverse position with the sagittal suture in the transverse diameter of the pelvis and the shoulders are in the anteroposterior diameter, we say, and it reaches up to the ischial spine, we say that the head has engaged, right? So see, in this fetal skull, if we take, now if we take like this, the occiput is pointing towards the left occipito-transverse position. See the sagittal suture, this one is a sagittal suture. If the head engages like this, the sagittal suture is in the transverse plane, right? So now if I have to examine the patient and say whether the head has engaged or not, per abdominally, how will you assess that whether the head has engaged or not? 5 finger. Suppose you hold the pelvis like this. See, this head is above, right? So this means what? The head has not engaged. So now per abdominally, when I am examining the mother, I will put these 5 fingers over here, just above the symphysis pubis, right? And now I feel the entire head. With my 5 fingers, I am able to feel the entire head. That means what? The head has not actually entered the pelvis. The head has not even engaged, not even entered the pelvis also. Now the head has slowly entered the pelvis, but engagement has not occurred. See, how will you, what I will feel? See, 3 fingers, with 3 fingers still I can feel the pelvis. With the fetal head, I can still feel the fetal head. Now further the head has descended and further the head has entered the pelvis. Suppose the head has entered. Now if I try to feel the fetal head, am I able to feel it? No. So it is said that if the head is 5/5 palpable, 5 by 5 with all my 5 fingers I am able to feel the fetal head, then the head has not engaged. Suppose now if 2/5 is palpable, that with my 2 fingers I can easily palpate the fetal head, but remaining of the fetal head I cannot palpate. That means what? The head has engaged. Or what we say, while we do the per vaginal examination, suppose the head has engaged and head has reached the this ischial spine, and while I do the per vaginal examination, I can see that at the level of the ischial spine I can feel the head of the fetus. Then we say the head is 2/5 palpable per abdomen. That means what? The head has reached station 0 or at the level of the ischial spine. So through this what we can say, that the head has engaged, one. And another thing what we can say is that there is no cephalopelvic disproportion as well. Had it been that the head is bigger than the size of the pelvis, the head wouldn't have engaged only, na. The head wouldn't have crossed the pelvic inlet, because there is no space for this head to go down. It would have been stuck over there. It had been like this, there will be free floating head. So the most common cause of free floating head or non-engaged head at term, most common cause of non-engaged head at term in case of a primigravida is occipito-posterior position. What we are studying everything is occipito-anterior position. See, whenever we are telling you the longitudinal lie, this occiput is in the left occipito-transverse position, the head occiput is always pointing towards the anterior side. Had it been occipito-posterior malpresent, it would have been like this. Na? The head wouldn't have engaged. So the most common cause of non-engagement of head in case of primigravida at term is occipito-posterior position. Second most common cause is cephalopelvic disproportion, that the size of the head is bigger than that of the pelvis, that the pelvis cannot accommodate this much bigger size of the head. Okay. And third most common is whether there is any structure which is obstructing the head to enter the pelvis. What is that structure can be? That might be a case of placenta previa. Okay, the placenta is occupying the lower pole of the uterus so that the fetus cannot enter the bony pelvis. So this is the third most important cause of non-engagement of head at term. In case of primigravidas, the engagement generally occurs at 38 weeks. In case of multigravidas, it generally occurs at the normal labor. So these are the definitions of we will study later on. Okay, these slides we will study later on. And in case of multigravida, it occurs at the onset of labor. So this is what we studied about engagement. First one is engagement. Anyone please revise it and tell me how will you say and how will you demonstrate the first step of mechanism of labor, that is engagement. Anyone? He has told many things. Now you guys have to volunteer and ask. Because if you don't speak up and if you don't hold the pelvis and start doing it with me, you never realize, you never understand. One step at a time. First of all, you understand what is engagement, then we will proceed further. Any one of you hold the pelvis and start demonstrating. तो इधर होके बॉल करते हैं. So what will you say? We are going to demonstrate the labor in a normal labor. की definitions चलो. The lie of the fetus should be longitudinal lie. See, the fetus is in longitudinal lie. Then the fetus will be in well flexed position. Cephalic presentation, presenting part being vertex, denominator is occiput, and we are going to demonstrate it in most common position, that is left occipito-transverse. Now you have to show it in left occipito-transverse. Show where is the occiput of the fetus. Your right will be mother's left. So this is mother's left. Okay. So the occiput will point towards the left side, that is left occipito-transverse. In left occipito-transverse, where is the sagittal suture? Tell me where the sagittal suture will occupy the transverse diameter of the pelvis. And now what is the definition of engagement? How come you can say this is engagement? When the largest transverse diameter, that is 9.5 centimeter, has crossed the pelvic inlet, then we say that the head is engaged. Now next cardinal movement is descent and flexion. Both are cardinal movements, but both of them occur simultaneously. Descent also occurs simultaneously and flexion also occurs along with the descent. Now why descent occurs? Because of the sequential uterine contractions and the maternal efforts which pushes the fetus inside the pelvis. And why this flexion occurs? So see, once the baby is coming down, 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 and once it hits the muscular supports of the pelvis, what happens? Suppose this is the head of the fetus and is coming down slowly with each uterine contraction, and once this head hits, what will happen? There will be a fulcrum like action. Suppose this is a fetal spine, right? And once it hits a hard structure, what will cause? It will cause the further flexion of the entire body of the fetus. So that is why flexion occurs as a result of maternal contraction, and as a result, once the fetus hits the muscular supports of the pelvis, it causes generalized flexion of the fetus, of the fetal head. And why this flexion is helpful? Exactly, because see, once the head is engaging, suppose this is the fetus and it is entering the pelvis like this. This was entering the pelvis like this. This is the transverse diameter, it is entering the pelvis like this, and the biparietal diameter has engaged. But there is another diameter called the anterior posterior diameters. But normally what happens when the fetus is fully flexed, suppose this is the fetus is fully flexed, what we are demonstrating is in case of a flexed attitude, then the engaging diameter is what? The engaging diameter is suboccipitobregmatic, because the head of the fetus is fully flexed. We have demonstrating in the fully flexed attitude of the fetus, right there, like this. This is, suppose this is the head of my hand is the body of the fetus, and the head is like this. So once it is entering, the anterior posterior diameter will be what? Suboccipitobregmatic, that is 9.5. This is the smallest diameter, so that the smallest diameter can enter the pelvis. But what if the head, there is some lax perineum, or in case of multigravida where there is the flexion attitude of the fetus is not maintained, what happens? The head of the fetus becomes slightly deflexed. Once this is flexed, this is slightly deflexed. Once it starts deflecting, what happens? Suboccipitobregmatic is the anterior portion. Now once it has deflected, what will happen? The anterior posterior diameter will start increasing. That will be suboccipitofrontal. So see, the engaging diameter is increased. The anterior posterior diameter will be increasing. As a result, what will happen? If it starts increasing, the head will not go inside. It will again create a problem, because for extended head, it will take time. There will be delayed engagement, and the labor will progress slow. The head will be a deflexed head. Another thing is that whenever you are doing a pervaginal examination and the head is entering, you do a pervaginal examination, something which is known as synclitism and asynclitism. What is the definition of synclitism? Once the head has entered the pelvis, it is said, if it is, see, this is synclitism. Why? Because the sagittal suture is equidistant from both, from symphysis pubis, this distance, and from the sacrum, the distance of the sagittal suture is same. But once we are doing pervaginal examination, finding that the head is slightly tilted like this. Now what happens? The sagittal suture is more towards the sacrum. It is tilted more towards the sacrum and it is away from the symphysis pubis. Similarly, another thing can happen. See, the sagittal suture can be like this also. It can be more tilted towards the symphysis pubis and less from that of the sacrum. So how do you know that what type of synclitism is this? See, once you are doing the hold the pelvis once. This is the fetal head, and suppose this is tilted like this, and you are doing the pervaginal examination, and you, while doing the pervaginal examination, you hit the anterior frontally. That means what? If you are hitting the anterior frontally, that means the sagittal suture is more towards the posterior surface. This is anterior asynclitism. Asynclitism is decided which side by the parietal bone you are touching first. If you are touching the anterior parietal bone, this is anterior asynclitism. Now, if we touch the posterior parietal bone, that is posterior asynclitism. Anterior asynclitism is more common in case of a multigravida, and this is known as Naegeli's obliquity. And if it is the posterior parietal bone you are hitting, that is posterior asynclitism, because you are hitting the posterior parietal bone. This is more common in case of a nulliparosoma and this is known as a Lisman obliquity. Now, why this asynclitism? We are more concerned about this asynclitism thing, because see, in case of a synclitic engagement, what happens? This sagittal suture is in the transverse diameter of the pelvis and it is engaging, then the biparietal diameter is entering the pelvis. That is 9.5. But once the there is asynclitism, that the head is slightly tilted, and in that condition it is entering the pelvis. What is happening? Instead of the biparietal diameter, what is engaging in the subparietal diameter it is engaging. So that diameter is the shortest transverse diameter, that is 8.5 centimeters. So that is helping the head to engage it in a better way. That is why there is a clinical significance for synclitism and asynclitism basically, because most of the engagement occurs in a asynclitic manner only, whether it is anterior or whether it is posterior, but most of the time it is asynclitic only, because it is helping the fetus in getting engaged in a shortest transverse diameter, that is 8.5 centimeter. So that is a clinical significance of synclitism and asynclitism in case of an engagement. Now the head has engaged. Now the second and third cardinal movements were flexion and descent. Hold this. So the head has engaged and now the thing is, head has engaged, the flexion and descent has already occurred. Now the fourth and most important cardinal movement is internal rotation. Where the internal rotation occurs? Internal rotation occurs at the level of ischial spine. Now why the ischial spine is so much important? It could have rotated upper, it could have rotated downwards also. Why at the level of ischial spine only? Exactly, at the level of the ischial spine, the levator ani muscles are attached, and levator ani muscles is in a forms like a hammock-like structure at the level of the internal os. There is a rule called Hertz's rule. What happens whenever whatever structure is striking the levator ani muscle, it will rotate in the direction of the muscle itself. Since that direction of the muscle is downwards and backwards anteriorly, so when the head of the fetus touches the levator ani muscle at the level of the internal os, the head will rotate in the direction of the muscle itself, so that the occiput now comes directly occiputo anterior or directly behind the symphysis pubis. This is what happens. See, the head was like this at the left occiputo transverse position. Now it slowly rotates 2/3 of a circle to directly come to lie just behind the symphysis pubis, right? So now as you can see, it's very well, there is some kind of a torsion in the neck of the fetus. Suppose you see, suppose I am the fetus, my shoulders are in this direction. If the head of my head and my shoulders are making an angle of what? 90 degrees. Without rotating my shoulders, if I try rotate my head like this, you try yourself. Rotate your head like there is some kind of torsion. You will don't rotate your shoulders. Just try rotating your head. What happens? There is some kind of a torsion at the level of your neck as well, right? The same, the fetus is also feeling that there is a torsion in the neck of the fetus, and it's in a hurry to get it relieved. Now you cannot sustain a torsion like this. See, the shoulders are in the left oblique diameters and the sagittal suture in the anterior posterior diameter, and the occiput is in the directly lying behind the symphysis pubis. And with sustained contractions, what happens? The head starts hinging behind the symphysis pubis, and now what happens? The next cardinal movement, that is delivery of the head by extension. First of all, what happens is that the head hinges behind the symphysis pubis, that is occiput is hinging behind the symphysis pubis and it is acting as a fulcrum, and as a result of what will happen, it will deliver by extension. All throughout the time we were studying flexion, flexion, flexion. Now it is delivering by extension. That is the first of all this lambdoid suture, then the vertex, and then slowly remaining structure will get delivered. But still the head is like this, the head is taut. So what will happen? There will be external rotation of 1/8. The head is sustaining a torsion of 2/8. So 1/8 it will rotate the opposite direction to relieve the torsion. But still there is some kind of a twisting thing. So now the shoulder which were in the left oblique diameter, that see, shoulders were in the left oblique diameter, that will rotate in the direction so that it comes in the anterior posterior diameter. See, When I am rotating the shoulders internally by 1/8, the head is also rotating outside. This is known as external rotation. And this is known as basically restitution. Why restitution is occurring? Because of the internal rotation of the shoulders to come in the anteroposterior diameter. The head is rotating again in the opposite direction of internal rotation, and to face the, since the head was in the left occipital transverse position, again the head is facing towards the left side of the mother's thigh, and the face is pointing towards the right side of the mother's thigh. Now the shoulders have occupied the anteroposterior diameter, and as a result what will happen is the anterior shoulder will now hinge behind the symphysis pubis, and the left shoulder will slip first. See, the anterior shoulder will hinge and the left shoulder will slip, and after that the delivery of the baby will be by lateral flexion. This was the entire mechanism of labor. So what were the steps for mechanism of labor? First is engagement. So what are the different things we learned about engagement? What is the definition of engagement? Diameter? This is the pelvic inlet. So what was the largest diameter? That was biparietal diameter, that was 9.5 centimeters. So the head was engaging in the transverse diameters, occiputo transverse, that is left occiputo transverse is the most common position, and sagittal suture was occupying the, and we were demonstrating the labor in the well flexed position. So what was the anteroposterior diameter which was engaging? Transverse diameter was the biparietal diameter. Sub-occipito-bregmatic. Sub-occipito-bregmatic is, what is the diameter? That is 9.5 centimeter. Had it the head been slightly deflexed, then sub-occipito-frontal. What is the diameter? 10.5. And slowly that the head is fully deflexed, then occipito-frontal. Occipito-frontal will be 11.5. Largest is in case of brow position, that is 13 centimeter, and there is no mechanism of labor for brow because there will be obstructed labor always. Now the head has engaged. How will you know the head has engaged? By per abdominal, that is known as Finton's fifth method. What is this fifth method called? Head is not engaged, okay. Head has reached station 0 and below, 1/5 palpebral is below. And while what is the synclitism and ansynclitism in case of engagement of the head? See, synclitism is what? Synclitism is the sagittal suture in the transverse plane is equidistant from the symphysis pubis as well as the sacral promontory. It is lying in the center, right? Now suppose the head has engaged like this. The sagittal suture is tilted towards the sacral promontory. So while doing the per vaginal examination, which parietal bone you will find first? See, the head has entered the pelvis like this. Sagittal suture is tilted towards the sacral promontory. Posterior frontally, you will feel posterior parietal bone. So posterior synclitism is more common in case of. The easiest rule to remember is A&M. Anganwadi workers, we say A&M workers, na. A for anterior synclitism, N for negligis obliquatis, and M for multigravitas. So A&M you can easily remember like this. And remaining whatever it is for nulliparous, primigravitas. So this is how you remember. This is why the synclitism is helpful, because it is shortest pelvic this biparietal diameter was 9.5, but once the head is engaging in the asynclitism engagement is occurring, then the transverse diameter which is entering the pelvis is the supra-subparietal diameter, that is 8.5 centimeter. This is much lesser than the previous one, that is biparietal. So it is helping in the engagement of the fetal head further. So now once the head has engaged, then what happens? There will be further flexion and descent. So once there is, see, at the level of ischial spine everything is happening, and now once the head strikes the levator ani muscle, there is a Hart's rule which causes what? Whatever structure it strikes, it will rotate it in the direction of the muscle fibers. So it will rotate the head like this. Internal rotation will occur by 2/8 of a circle, so that the occiput now comes to lie behind the symphysis pubis, and the anterior, shoulders will lie in the left oblique diameter. See, whenever I am doing like this, the head is sustaining a torsion of 2/8 of a circle and the shoulders are lying in the left oblique diameter. Now the occiput hinges behind the symphysis pubis As the maternal efforts and contraction, further contraction is there, the delivery of the head is by extension. To relieve the torsion in the neck, the rotation is there and by 1/8 of a circle in the direction opposite to that of the internal rotation. Now the shoulder from the left oblique diameter rotates to come in the antero-posterior diameter. See, as the shoulder rotates inside by 1/8 of a circle to come in the antero-posterior diameter, see the head also rotates outside. And after that, the anterior shoulder hinges behind the symphysis pubis and slowly the posterior shoulder is delivered first, followed by lateral flexion to deliver the anterior shoulder and the baby gets delivered. This is the mechanism of labor. Somebody has to demonstrate from behind, because otherwise now if you don't revise, you won't revise later on also. Hold the pelvis first in the anatomical position. Hold it. How to hold the pelvis in anatomical position? Stand up and demonstrate. Then how will you say that you are going to demonstrate the normal labor? What is the criteria for normal mechanism of labor? What are the criteria for demonstrating the normal mechanism of labor? What should be the lie of the fetus? Longitudinal. Hold the fetus in the longitudinal lie now. Yes. ठीक है. The fetus is in longitudinal. What is longitudinal? The axis of the fetus should be in parallel to that of the axis of the mother, right? So fetus से आरो घूरबे. Fetus से आरो हो रहा, हाँ. It should be in cephalic presentation. Presenting part should be vertex. And most common position is occiput being the denominator, and it should lie in the left occiput or transverse position. Show me what is the left occiput or transverse. Occiput should be in the transverse plane. Are to घूरबे. हाँ. Left, this is known as occiput or transverse position. Now you will say that first in cardinal movement is what? Engagement. So how will you show that whether the head has engaged or not? Say, you have to say na, the biparietal diameter has crossed the pelvic inlet, that is 9.5 centimeter. Now there will be simultaneously what? Two cardinal movements occur simultaneously throughout the labor, that is descent and flexion. Descent means what? Baby has to go inside and come out, right? So descent and flexion. Why the flexion is occurring? Well, why the flexion was occurring? Once the head of something, when you strike something hard, what will happen? You will obviously curl towards like this, it acts like a fulcrum. So their attitude will be flexion. Now, at the level of the internal os, once it has hit the levator ani muscle, what will happen? There will be internal rotation. How will you do internal rotation? Show me. It will rotate anteriorly, right? So the head will rotate anteriorly by 2/8 of a circle from left occipital transverse to lie directly behind the symphysis pubis, and the shoulders will occupy the shoulders will be in which left oblique diameter. তো ওটা হচ্ছে তো না, শোল্ডারটা ঘুরবেই না, শোল্ডারটা লাস্টে 1/8 ঘুরে লেফট অবলিক ডায়ামিটার থেকে অ্যান্টেরিয়র পশ্চেরিয়রে আসছে। They give it to me once. See, once the head is like this, the head is over here, na? It is rotating 1/8 of a circle, and it is coming directly behind the symphysis pubis. But as you can see, the shoulders are still in the same. But now the head has suppose delivered. The head has delivered. Then also it is same. Now it will rotate just 1/8 of a circle. See, this is rotating 1/8 of a circle. But outside the head is rotating 2/8 of a circle again back. It has come 2/8 of a circle in front to lie behind the symphysis pupil, gone out, itself rotated to relieve some kind of a torsion. Then the shoulders have rotated. So ultimately outside the head is coming back to its original position, that is left occipital transverse, and facing towards the maternal right thigh. So the head rotates 2/8, but the shoulder rotates 1/8 of a circle. This only you have to demonstrate. Be confident now. You are just rotating like this. Outside the head will rotate 1/8, so that after that the shoulders inside will rotate 1/8, and see the delivery will occur. If you keep on practicing, you will always remember. Anybody has any confusion regarding this? লেফট অক্সিপুটো ট্রান্সভার্স, এটা বুঝতে পারছিস না, মানে পেলভিসের এটা দেখ, when the occiput is pointing towards the left side of the maternal pelvis, it is engaged. Sagittal suture is in what diameter? Left occipital transverse diameter. And anterior posterior, this is the base, and anterior posterior diameter is the subocciputo-bregmatic diameter. It's corresponding with that of the left occiputo transverse is basically the pelvic plane. And what we are subocciputo-bregmatic diameter, what we are talking about is the fetal diameter we are talking about, which is engaging. And the fetal transverse diameter which is engaging is the biparietal diameter. So these are the, because whenever a 3D structure is entering the pelvis, what is happening? It has got two diameters, right? This is one diameter, this is one diameter. So this is will engage together, no? See, this is all the slides we are taking about. See, this is the rise longitudinal, presentation is cephalic, presenting part is vertex, position is left occiputo transverse, this is the most common, and the denominator is occiput. Engagement, flexion, distance, and now see, this is the definition of engagement and what we were talking about. See, this is 5-5 palpebral, right? See, then 4th-5 palpebral, 3-5 palpebral. After 2-5 palpebral, the head is engaged, so you cannot feel anything. And 0-5 palpebral, that none of the head is palpable, so it has completely entered the pelvis. That is the 5th method we were talking about. And the flexion, see, in case of well flexed attitude, the subocciputo-bregmatic diameter is engaging, that is 9.5. But once the head starts deflecting, what happens? See, the diameters are slowly increasing. So once you start deflecting the head, it is very difficult to get the fetal head engaged. Now this is the overall flexion, why this flexion attitude is helping you, so that the head get engages easily. Now this is the internal rotation. It is always occurs in the anterior direction because of the direction of the muscle fibers of the levator, and then at the level of the ischial spine it occurs. And according to the Hart's rule, what is the rule? That is, the part of the fetal head touching the levator ani muscle will always move in the direction of the muscle fibers. So that is why the internal rotation always occurs in the anteriorly in the direction of the muscle fibers, never posterior. It never rotates ulta taraf. It always rotates in the direction of the levator ani muscle. And see, what we have studied is the head always rotates 2/8 of a circle and sustain a torsion. Now this is extension. So in case of extension, what was happening? But delivery of the head of the fetus was happening. First, which part is delivered? The occiput is hinging behind the symphysis pubis and the vertex is delivered. Slowly the brow and everything, and so the entire head of the fetus is delivered by extension. Then the external rotation and restitution. First, external rotation, what is happening? The head itself rotates in the opposite direction of the internal rotation by 1/8 of a circle to relieve some amount of torsion. And the restitution also manifested as the external rotation of the head due to the internal rotation of the shoulders from the left oblique diameter to the anterior posterior diameter, which is manifested at external rotation of the head by another 1/8, so that it goes back to its original position, that is left occiputal transverse, and the face is towards the maternal pelvis, right side of the maternal thigh. Same, after the same time, the shoulders are rotating in the transverse position that we have studied. And then see, the head has delivered, the anterior shoulder is hinging behind the symphysis pubis while the posterior shoulder is getting delivered. And then the entire baby is getting delivered by lateral flexion. See, whenever you are demonstrating the labor, you should be very fluent. You should be very much confident that whatever the steps are happening simultaneously. And you have to go back at home and practice. Otherwise, this fluency or this sequential arrangement, it won't come. You will be always stuck. You will be answering, but your hand won't move. That is another problem, right? And where after rotating the shoulders, how much the head is rotating, or after rotating the head, in which diameter the shoulders are engagement, you should know. Anybody has any confusion? You can ask me, or at least you can practice now also. So that if you are doing something wrong, we can at least correct that. See, suppose if you're looking at the pelvis from the top like this, is almost like a circle, right? Look at the pelvis from the top, it almost looks like a circle. Now you divide the pelvis like this. Suppose this is your pelvis. See, this is your pelvis. Now you divide the pelvis into, suppose this is the sacrum and this is the symphysis pubis, right? This is the symphysis pubis and this is the sacrum. Now see how many halves are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. See, like this we are studying. Now the head of the fetus was in left occiput or transverse position. This is the head of the fetus, right? Now once happens, what happens at the level of the ischial spine, the head is rotating by how much to come behind the symphysis pubis? 1/8 and 1/8. So total of 2/8 of a circle the head is rotating. But once the head is rotating, but the shoulders are still in these two positions. The shoulders are still occupying the left oblique diameter. But the head is here. So suppose this is the fetus. This is the fetal neck, this is the fetal head and the shoulders are here. Like this we are studying. So head has sustained a torsion of 2/8 of a circle. Now the head gets delivered. Suppose this is the head, but the shoulders are still at the same position. Head has rotated 2/8. To relieve the torsion, what happens? The head rotates back by 1/8. This is known as the external rotation. Now the shoulders are coming back from the left oblique diameter to the anterior posterior diameter. So it will manifest as what? Restitution. The head will further go back by another 1/8. So total 2/8. So again it is going back to the same position. Now externally in the opposite direction of the internal rotation. So the head is pointing towards the left occiput and the face is pointing to the maternal right thigh. And now the shoulders are in the anterior posterior diameter. Now the anterior shoulder will hinge. Posterior shoulder gets delivered first and the entire baby now gets delivered by lateral flexion. That is why we say 2/8 or 1/8, because we divide the entire pelvis by imaginary lines into 8 quadrants, so that you easy for demonstrating and easy for understanding also. Now how will you say that how the neck is, how much torsion it is come? What is the confusion? একবার anteriorly যায় 2/8, সেম আবার সেম ডিরেকশনে আবার ব্যাক করে 2/8। 2/8 যেটা ব্যাক করছে সেটা বাইরের দিকে ব্যাক করছে, লাইক externally it is going back, and internal rotation always occurring anteriorly by 2/8. This is the mechanism of normal labor. But once you start reading about the abnormal labor, occipito-posterior or breech, then you will understand why understanding this concept is important, why this should be imprinted in your mind. Then only you can understand the remaining part. Because if I start demonstrating the labor in the left occipito-posterior position now, suppose it is ROP, right occipito-posterior. Now you have to understand all the diameters and how it is going back, how it is turning and how it is delivering. Because until unless you know what is normal, you won't be able to understand what is abnormal. Understood? You have any confusion? Can you demonstrate? I need somebody at least to volunteer, however, how much you have understood. Just demonstrate in practice is once in the class, or else it will be very difficult to do it at home. Do it in front of me, so that whenever you are getting stuck somewhere, you will be get clarified now in front of me only, or else it will be very difficult for you. Kore bol je kothai confusion hocche. তোকে always examiner দিকে face হবে, right? So the pelvis should be held like this. The head should be first the head should be in the left occipital transverse. Yes, it should be like this. Now with further descent and flexion, you go inside and then you rotate the head, right? You rotate the head. The head has rotated, see, and the this shoulders are still in the left oblique diameter. The head has come directly behind the symphysis pubis. It is getting delivered also. Now the head, this torsion the head has sustained, it is rotating 1/8 in the opposite direction of the internal rotation. further rotation is occurring due to the internal rotation of the shoulders by 1/8 of a circle. See, তুই ওকে ছেড়ে দাও, যদি internal rotation এখানেও করো তাহলে ওটা ঘুরবে। আচ্ছা, now you rotate the shoulders from the left oblique diameter to the anterior posterior diameter. Leave the fetus. হ্যাঁ, উল্টো দিকে কেন ঘোরাবি, তুই সামনে দিকে, অলওয়েজ অ্যান্টেরিয়রলি, এভরি রোটেশন which is occurring is anteriorly. তুই rotate, see the head is automatically rotating outside by another 1/8 of a circle. Then the anterior shoulder hinges and the posterior shoulder delivers first, and the entire baby is now delivers by lateral flexion. So the same thing. Never rotate in the opposite direction, then you will confuse. Always have it in your mind that you have to rotate everything, whatever rotation you are doing is the anterior direction. Then everything will fall in the sequence. You have to practice this, nothing is, practice is the key basically. You have to keep on, then for 30 minutes also you practice with one of your friends and form groups, start speaking and do this, it will automatically come up.